Mic check, mic check. Audio. One.
This board proceeding, they are live transmitted. go up to the back.
Audio test 1, 2, 3.
Because then they're gonna have to say they didn't know what the law was. They're gonna say, well, I didn't know the Brown Act. I didn't know, because she made a legal rule. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to sign up, that's what he said.
For the second time in your department, the city of you have two criminals taking bribes. Start off with Peter Thomas, and then you got another executive attorney on the record receiving gifts and after a judge told him what to do about it.
Good morning to our attendees who are joining us via the virtual platform. My name is TJ Knight. I'm the Acting Executive Officer for the Board of Public Works. If there's anyone on the virtual platform who wishes to offer commentary on any of our items this morning or comment or general public comment, please raise your hand. I'll ask you to unmute, identify yourself for the record and which item you'd like to speak on. I'll record your information and we'll call upon you when we get to your item. I do see Audit LA. Audit LA, if you'd go ahead and unmute. Which item?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning. I would like to do public comment, and I would like to speak on all agenda items.
Very well. Items 1 through 10, as well as public comment.
Correct.
Thank you. Just a friendly reminder, you do have a 10-minute cap on your commentary on the agendized items.
Absolutely. So I may ask for reminders of where I'm at in time.
Certainly, will do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. Henri Marini. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. If you would please.
Good morning.
Yes.
Yes, hello. Good morning. This is Henry Marini. I would also like to offer public comment, please, on all agenda items.
Public comment on items 1 through 10.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Very well. I have recorded your information for the record. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. Mona M. Mona M. Good morning.
Good morning, TJ. Just public comment this morning, please.
Very well. I will call upon you when we get to public comment. I'm going to go ahead and
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead and put you back on mute, and I'm going to lower all attendees' hands. Good morning as well to our attendees who are joining us here in the Board of Public Works hearing room. If there's anyone who wishes to offer commentary on any of our agendized items or public comment, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room, indicate which item you'd like to speak on, and hand it to me. I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we get to your item. We should get started in the next 8 to 10 minutes. Thank you so much.
so, you know, so, because if the chair comes here today, you can't say the word, if you say that you know one time, how will you? Okay, all right. Now, if you see, allow her to do it, you don't qualify, because then she gets understandable. They never told me I couldn't do that. I looked at the clerk, he didn't say anything to me. I looked at the clerk, he didn't tell me. And I am not a lawyer. I rely on the records. There's a problem, they're supposed to tell me. And I did not know that that was the case. You know what? She went. So what you do is you see the fucking attorney. Now, you see the attorney. Yeah, right. So, yeah. That's why you gotta, so you sue the deputy. So, that was the FBI's mistake. Okay, that's what we want. So, in other words, if they tell her, I don't think it. But she said, I did it. I looked at the CD, but it said up to me. I looked at it, it said up to me. I looked at it, it said up to me. No, it said up to me. Young man, no, it's all right. That's how we're going to go. See, but this is the time. So in other words, come in, State Farm,
Good morning once again to our attendees who are joining us here in the Board of Public Works hearing room. If you have not already done so, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room, indicate which item you'd like to speak on, and turn it in to me. And good morning as well to our attendees joining us via the Zoom platform. If there is anyone who's not already done so and wishes to offer commentary on any of our items this morning or public comment, please raise your hand. Identify yourself for the record, which item you'd like to speak on. I'll record your name, and we'll call upon you when we get to your item. I do see Yvonne Best. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute. Yvonne? Whoops, I accidentally muted you. I do that sometimes. I pressed the button too quickly. Yvonne, which item would you like to speak on this morning?
Yes, I'd like to make a public comment only.
Very well. I have you down for public comment, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara Brody, you should be able to unmute yourself. Which item would you like to speak on, Barbara?
Thank you, Mr. Knight. A short public comment and then on this staff update. And our neighborhood council has a CIS position on staff.
Okay, let me just ask for clarification, Barbara. So you're speaking on behalf of the neighborhood council on public comment, or is that you individually?
Both.
Okay. And then you wish to offer a commentary on the STAP update. However, I should inform you that the STAP report, that is item number 8, has been rescheduled or will be rescheduled to September 25th.
Ah, okay. Well, then I guess I'm just making a public comment.
Very well. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. And is there anyone else joining us via the virtual platform who wishes to offer commentary on any of our items this morning? If there is, please raise your hand, identify yourself for the record, and which item you'd like to speak on. We should get started momentarily. Thank you so much.
But you know, I finally, I figured the secret out of it. The farm, why the farm? Sure, not a problem.
So I've listed out the, how are you doing this week?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Testify.
Get caught up, fucking realize that you fucked up. You should have slammed it off the other. I told Clark, fucking bitch, you better get to do your job as a Marine, as an ex-veteran. These fucking officials are trouble.
I would. Yesterday, I went out to his courthouse yesterday. I talked to his clerk.
Nice.
And I told the clerk, it's not me. I said, I love your boss. I've always been a fan of your boss, okay? And I said, but I need to know this. And she goes like this, she says, okay, what is it? I said, and again, I just want to make you a part of it. I said, some people and they're saying things about
Good morning once again. This is TJ Knight, Acting Executive Officer for the Board of Public Works, taking roll, and or actually I'm going to go ahead and put us in record mode. Sorry about that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I do see 2 additional hands raised who have recently joined the virtual platform. I'm going to go ahead and call on you and see if you would like to offer commentary on any of our items. The first attendee is listed under Samsung SMS928U. Would you like to offer commentary this morning on any of our items or public comment?
Yes, I would like to just offer commentary and public comment.
Okay, I have you listed for public comment. Is that accurate, Samsung? And would you like to provide a name that I could identify you with?
Yeah, my name is Scott.
Excellent. And I have you listed for public comment. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. Teague McLean. Teague McLean, I see your hand raised. Would you like to offer commentary on any of our items or public comment this morning?
I would like to offer public comment, please.
Very well, Teague. I have you down for public comment. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. If there's anyone else who has not already done so who would like to offer commentary or public comment on any of our items this morning, please raise your hand, unmute, identify yourself for the record and which item you'd like to speak on. I would like to make a short announcement this morning that we are going to take public comment towards the end of the meeting this morning. So it is up to, please don't disrupt the meeting. It is up to the presiding officer to determine the order of items that are taken on the agenda, and public comment will be taken towards the end of the meeting. Vice President Villegas, we are now in record mode.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Public Works for September 18th at 10:10 this morning. I'm excited just to start the meeting, and thank you for the announcement. We're going to take general public comment at the end today. And moving on then with our agenda, we'll take general public comment and neighborhood comment at the very end. And next on our agenda, we have the approval of the minutes for Wednesday, September.
I'm sorry to interrupt
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry, you didn't establish quorum.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you. TJ Knight, Acting Executive Officer. I'm going to take roll and establish quorum. Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioner Corson are present. Commissioner Reyes is out on an excused absence. We do have a quorum. We are joined by City Attorney Representative Thomas Costello Vega. Once again, I'm Acting Executive Officer TJ Knight. Vice President Villegas, we have speaker cards under all items on the virtual platform, as well as public comment on the virtual platform. We have speaker cards on items 1 through 7 for attendees who are joining us here in the Board of Public Works hearing room.
Great. Well, thank you for that, and thanks for establishing quorum. All right, let's move on then to our agenda. And as I was saying earlier, the approval of the minutes for Wednesday, September 4th. If we can get a second to my motion on that, please.
Second.
All right, Mr. Knight, we have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Corson.
Very well. We will take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
All ayes, and approval is unanimous.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, well then let's get started with item number 1. And thank you. Why don't we have public comment, so why don't we take that up first? Why don't we take the virtual callers first, and then we'll continue with those in public.
Very well. For item number 1, let's go ahead and hear from Audit LA. Audit LA, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes to offer your commentary. Go ahead.
Yes, hi. Good morning. I'm on item number 1. I would like to remind you that with all projects, that they need to be ADA compliant, because as a commission, so far you could care less that I can tell about any kind of ADA compliance or anything for the ADA community. And I do see that it has LA Hands Art Piece Foundation, so that sounds like it almost sounds like Braille, to me. Okay, like art, and this is on the agenda because it says LA Hands Art Piece Foundations. So I hope it is. I hope it is art that is there to help with people who may be visually impaired. There's different disabilities, okay, that are helped by art. In fact, there's a new, there's different foundations and stuff that are, that's coming up the pike to help with people with disabilities and to connect to art because it's very healing. Art is very healing. And so I'm hoping that we see more of this. But I'm also hoping to see that this board will get in compliance to deal and to respect the community and the ADA community and that person here who's been coming time after time begging you for something as simple as an agenda in Braille. I understand if you don't have the machines to do it, but I hear the city clerk does. So how hard is it to get Mr. Knight or somebody else to get down to that office and to print out some agendas? It's unfair. And so I'm hoping that with this project that you are not unfair and that that you do offer not only Braille, but hearing. There's people with hearing issues. They may need sound amplification. There's people with mobility issues. Make sure your streets, everything that you're building in this, that it's ADA compliant. Because sometimes you guys, that
That's 2
Mr.
minutes.
Keith Mosby
Thank
can
you.
be sneaky.
Thank you. That's 2 minutes. And next, can we hear from Henri? Henri Marini? I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes to offer your comment on item number 1. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. Are you able to hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So my comment on item 1 is that I have deep concerns about LADWP and the Public Works, not only commissioners, but the Los Angeles Public Works Department overall on their competency to even conduct such reviews. I have had extensive conversations with LADWP on simply holding basic ordinance violations of reckless water waste. Yet you're talking here about an entire river connectivity improvement. We're talking about fundamental infrastructure here. If they can't even hold Scientology accountable for wasting over 100,000 gallons of freaking water in a single day, what makes you think they're able to do major infrastructure development projects like this? I mean, this is the level of expertise and professionalism you're going to get from LADWP. I have zero confidence in their competency, and that's why I filed with the Board of Professional Engineers to review the license of Janice and the rest of the executive team, as well as for this board, on the overall standing of your professional engineering license to sit as competent professionals in reviewing such projects. This is an absolute disgrace. And item number 1, I have zero confidence that LADWP or the Public Works Commission can even tackle such an immense project like number 1 here. Again, a reckless water waste, a simple ordinance violation to issue a fine and a public announcement for a punishment. LADWP cannot even do this. So you're telling me that they can do item number 1 here? Absolutely
City
not.
Attorney.
Absolutely not.
Is he on topic?
My time.
That's 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay.
And next, if you like, Vice President Villegas, we can move to our in-person commenters for item number 1.
Yes, for, thanks. Clark for number 1.
And you have 2 minutes to offer your commentary, Clark.
Did you say Clark? I'm a person with a disability too, and I think the city, Los Angeles CD14, sucks a dick when it comes to street park arts because in the river connectivity improvements, those fucking homeless people just fuck up our art all the time. They tear it apart. And they don't let us faggots and queers and cunts sit there nicely to listen to the art speak to us. Because I hope it's real, just like the bar license of Stephen Hong at 212727, in which I plan to file a complaint because, as your attorney read into the record, we have a quorum. That fucking nigger didn't allow that to happen upstairs this morning at 8:30 for the record. And I want the city attorney to know that if you continue to do this type of fucking shit, I plan to put your name on a bar license complaint too, that you're not cooperating with the Brown Act rules and you're violating my constitutional First Amendment right. But let's go back to this art. Yeah. District sewer rehab is not about art, because that shit don't smell. The only shit that smells is the shit I take on art that doesn't represent the Renaissance art, because I'm a true fan to Renaissance art by Michelangelo and the other artists from the Marazzi family. So
That's 2 minutes. Thank you. A
Seriously?
friendly reminder that folks in the room who are offering commentary on any of our items, please approach the podium quickly and efficiently to make your comments. And we have one other commenter.
The next person that we have up for item number 1 is the person with the letter N.
And you have 2 minutes to offer your comment.
Yes, I signed up as nigger. You did? Yeah, why not? I'm a nigger. So, all of these change orders for niggers and the Los Angeles Engineering, 6th Street for that fucking racist Kevin De Leon. He calls black people monkeys. The only monkey
Please
is
stay on
him.
topic.
What? I am, you dumb bitch. Look at item number 1. It says CD14. Who runs CD14? Kevin De Leon. Right. So how can I possibly be off topic, Mr. City Attorney? And a sewer rehab, they're siphoning shit. Yes. When you humans sit down at the toilet after you're eating Taco Bell, and you put that shit into the toilet, and it goes down into the sewer. And then when the police knock on the door, and then you have to put all the cocaine, drugs, and all of the items into the fucking sewer, it washes out into the Santa Fe Avenue River. And then it goes into the Hyperion plant, and then out into the fucking Santa Monica Bay, where all of the dolphins and all of the whales eat your drugs and shit. That's why they hate you. Yes. So they want a change order to reinstate the as-bid scope so that they can go to Kevin and give him liquor and prostitutes and hope they can raise this bar. And you dumb bastards here will vote yes unanimously instead of sending the item back and demanding a full accounting. Because you're too fucking stupid to know what this is. You don't have the numbers. You're voting for fake numbers, unfunded mandate. Fuck
That's
this
2
kind of
minutes.
shit.
I would like to make a quick announcement that I failed to make earlier, Vice President Vegas, and that is that item number 8 will be continued to, at the request of the Bureau, to September 25th.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then let's move on to, from public comment on this item to item number 1, and this is by the Bureau of Engineering, and this is in Council District 14, and this is to issue a change order number 3, the Los Angeles Engineering, Inc., 6th Street Park Arts River and Connectivity Improvement, Department of Cultural Affairs, LA Hands Art Peace Foundations, and Central Business District Sewer Rehab, Unit 11, 6th Street siphon to Santa Fe Avenue, and recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue change order number 3 for the project to delete Value Engineering item number 2, 4, and 5, and reinstate the original as-bid scope of work. And on this item today, we have Mr. Stephen Fierce. If you could just speak into the mic.
Yes, hi, good morning. Yes, for some background on this project. On June 16th, 2023, the board awarded a contract to the Los Angeles Engineering, Inc., LAE, in the amount of $62,658,000 with a contingency amount of $6,268,000 for a total approved construction budget of $68,926,000 to construct the project. The project is comprised of 3 projects within the same location to facilitate coordination and overlapping work. The projects are the 6th Street Park, Arts Park, River Connectivity, Park Improvements, Department of Cultural Affairs, LA Hands Art Peace Foundations, and the 3rd project is the Central Business District Sewer Rehab, Unit 11A, 6th Street, siphon to Santa Fe Avenue. Prior to the award of the construction contract, the BOE and LA mutually agreed to cost reductions with 11 value engineering items as summarized in this report. Change number 3 will reinstate the original bid scope of work, which was proposed to be modified by the three of the value engineering items. The 3 items were value engineering item 2 and 4, and that was to modify the east building's lateral resisting system, and the other item was the value engineering item number 5, which is to modify the building's mat foundation system. So by removing these 3 value engineering items, the original scope of work as bid by LAE will be restored, thereby nullifying these modifications.
Excuse me.
The expenses linked to the removal of the value engineering items number 2 and 4 total $340,000, along with the value engineering item number 5, which is amounting to $132,000. It's summing up to a total of $472,000, will be reinstated into the construction contract through issuance of this change order number 3. So there is and regarding funding in this, there is no impact to the general fund, and no additional funding is required for this change order, and the contingency funding as previously approved in the awarding board report will be used for this change order. With that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Commissioners, did we have any questions?
None for me.
No. Mr. Fierce, if you could just please elaborate just a little bit more on the, there's these change orders that are going to be happening, and it's for value engineering. If you can just give more context, on value engineering, and there's items that are going to be essentially removed from this. And, if we can put it on for public record on what that means, and then there's no change in budget.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, the value engineering items number 2 and 4, which were associated with modifying the east building.
I'm so sorry. I'm having a really difficult time hearing you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's see here if this is working better. Just so I can clarify your question, you wanted me to give a little better definition on the value engineering items, what they stand for.
Yeah, I would like for you just to give a little bit more context on, these items that are going to be removed. And then you also said there's no change to the budget. And so how do we reconcile that?
Well, right now, there's no, we're not requesting any change to the budget because we're going to be utilizing the construction contingency. So we're bringing these back into the project to make those elements that we initially thought would be good value engineering options that we needed to explore. But as we got into the project, awarded the work, we realized that the time it would take to do the redesign, engineering, and these sorts of aspects with the items we identified would actually delay the project out further. And as the construction schedule would be then extended, that would actually, we would lose the cost savings by trying to do this engineering. So once we got involved in it, to try and assess that, we realized that these three value engineering items were really not going to be a benefit to the project.
Okay,
So we just restored them.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that clarification or additional information. Any other questions, commissioners? No?
Well, in terms of the business inclusion, could you elaborate in terms of what we were able to achieve or not able to accomplish as it relates to the business inclusion on the project?
These change orders will not affect the awarded business inclusion program goals, and so the goals will remain in place as it was awarded. So this project had a goal for let me just get this here straight. I'm looking for it.
I see it here. It's on the transmittal for business inclusion that this board approved back in
That's right.
June 16, 2023. I'm trying to.
So he said it had no impact.
It's on page 18. No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any other questions? All right. Do we have a second to my motion to move this item?
Second.
All right, Mr. Knight, we have a motion by myself and a second by Pro Tem Davis.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 1, starting with you, Madam Vice President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 1 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go out of order here, and I am going to take item number 9, and that's the report for Climate Emergency Mobilization Office Update and Heat Action Framework by Ms. Martha Segura. And I think we have, before you come up, I think we have speakers on this item. We have a card for, we have online.
Online,
Yeah.
correct.
Thank
Vice
you.
President Villegas. Audit LA. Audit LA. We're now on item number 9, the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office Update. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes to offer your commentary on this item. Go ahead.
Are you guys trying to confuse the public and trying to suppress free speech today? That being the case, when it comes to this, I'm just asking you to remember our canopies. We need good canopies. We do need them trimmed so people aren't injured. But we do need cooling technologies. I'm sitting here in the sun right now and would love a shade tree right now. I reserve the rest of my time.
Thank you. All right, and I think we have one more person on Zoom.
Yes, Vice President Villegas, we do have Henri Marini. Henri, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes to offer your commentary.
Yes, hello again. Good morning. This is Henry Marini. You know, in all the places I've visited, California, for some reason, despite having the country's most lush forests and vast amounts of land and some of the largest known bureaus of land management that are very well furnished with trees, for some reason, it just seems to me, right? I can't quite put my finger on it, but it just seems to me that LA seems to miserably fail to understand that trees are important. And I don't understand why that is not a number 1 ticket item on item number 9 here. If you want cooling, you don't need water stations. You need more trees. It's really just that simple. And for a place that's essentially Texas 2.0, and the fact that you have some of the most diverse bio life here, I just don't understand why that point is not made on item number 9. Again, I've been to a lot of different places, and it just seems to me that of all the places in California, LA just cannot seem to grasp this fundamental physics 101 that trees equal shade, shade equals cooling. Therefore, that should be ticket number 1 on item number 9. It just throwing it out there. Maybe I'd be happy to offer some remedial physics to the professional engineers. You know, I'd be happy if trained engineers in my lifetime and maybe they just need some brushing up. Who knows? You know, it happens to the best of us sometimes. I yield my time.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your comment. Then we will turn the floor over to Ms. Martha Segura. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is our semi-annual report for the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office. I'm Marta Segura, the Chief Heat Officer for the City of LA and the Director of the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office. And Amy Clark, our Deputy of Operations, has been kind enough to move the slides for us. So I guess I'll start by saying that, as everybody knows, Los Angeles is going to be a lot hotter. And by 2050, originally UCLA had estimated that we would have 31% more extreme heat days than we do now, but I think we've already broken that record. And at this point, scientists are saying that basically it's very difficult to predict since we have had record-breaking years for the past few years, and climate change continues to influence extreme weather as a whole, but extreme heat specifically. What we do know from the UCLA study is that we have approximately 1,200 or 1,177 excess ER visits on extreme heat days. And what I want to say about that is that it's not always just about the temperature. It's also about the vulnerability about of the neighborhoods, if they're in a pollution burdened area, if they have pre-existing health conditions, if they don't have air conditioning in their homes. And about 50% of the rentals in LA don't have air conditioning because we have had this really wonderful Mediterranean weather, or been popular for that for so long that landlords were not required to install AC systems. So those vulnerabilities, as you can see, often overlap with Cal Enviro Screen, which is the environmental justice screening tool for the state of California. And so we at the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office want to make sure that the message that we drive home for mitigating and adapting to extreme heat and creating therefore more heat resilience is that we want to encourage the city to align with Justice 40 and invest first and foremost in these vulnerable communities so that we can reduce the health injuries and premature deaths in these communities. But we're really here to talk about CEMO and its progress since the last time, but I kind of just wanted to start with the overview of extreme heat because we spend so much of our time as an office addressing that. Next slide, please, Amy. So this is my amazing team. They're truly amazing. I have a deputy heat officer, a deputy of operations, and also two amazing management analysts that work on policy and engagement. What I wanted to point out here is that we now have a vacancy for a commission executive assistant. So we will be addressing that very soon. Next. Great. And these are the programs and policy priority areas that we will discuss today. One is the Heat Action and Resilience Plan, which we are about to launch with the Office of the Mayor, MOES, on 9/30 with a select group of champions or steering committee members that are already working on initiatives that will mitigate heat. And those invitations have gone out, so that's very exciting because not only did we complete our draft of the Heat Action Framework, we're going to start sharing it and socializing it with leaders throughout the city, including the commissioners, of course. And we are expecting, I hope, to hear from the state of California, the EHCRP grant in December, whether we have the funds to do a full technical analysis and stakeholder engagement for the Heat Action and Resilience Plan. We have some amazing university partnerships, and I don't have it with me today, but USC, the Public Exchange Program, just completed a story map for extreme heat for the city of LA. So like everything we do with regards to heat, it's the first in the city, and it's the first in the West Coast, and we will be putting that on our website and sending that out on our newsletter very soon. We want to be focused as a subset of the heat action and resilience plan on heat vulnerability assessment. The planning department just drafted their portion of the climate vulnerability assessment. They'll be sharing that soon. The Emergency Management Department completed their local hazard mitigation plan. And why that's important to CMO is that both of those documents have extreme heat recommendations, and it's important for the city to align on those issues, right? And we shared with Raul, we have about 4 council report backs right now, and that's kind of the average for CMO right now. And I think that along with all this other work keeps us pretty busy. So now I'm going to go on to the metrics. We're going to start with the quarter 3, quarter 4, 23-24 metrics for the CMO programs. Or no, actually, my bad. It looks like we're starting with the timeline for the heat action framework, but we'll swim through that quickly. I don't know if you have this document. I think it's page number 4 on your document. And I just wanted to show you what the timeline is for the heat action framework. We're soft launching it this September, but we probably won't really launch it with the community and the other city leaders until January, because that'll be after we hear about the grant from the state of California. But if all goes well, we'll do all of our stakeholder engagement and technical analysis next year, and we'll finalize the plan in April, July of 2026, and then we'll finalize the plan in August of 2026. But along the way, because many of the initiatives are already existing programs, we'll be tracking the progress, and we'll be reporting on the progress as we complete the heat action and resilience plan. The next slide on your document are the 5 tracks for the heat action and resilience plan. What I want to point out here is that we've mirrored the state of California's 4 tracks, and we've added an additional one for accountability. So basically, CMO and the city for the heat action resilience plans wants to create a platform to ensure there's more transparency, progress, tracking, and accountability for all of the strategies and initiatives that will be finalized in our plan. So there's going to be that. And usually, I don't know if I've shared this with you before, but many of the climate action plans have failed because they have not figured out in advance how they're going to track their progress, right? So they don't report their progress, they don't commit to their progress, but that's going to be a big difference with our heat action plan and other cities who don't have this element to it. We do have one of our most important tracks is nature-based solutions. You know, that's basically what some of the callers are talking about: trees, open space, stormwater infrastructure, green infrastructure. And we're really fortunate in the city of LA that there are already multiple departments working on these issues that can just report the heat intersection of those projects for this heat action plan. So that's how this is basically going to work. Yes, there will be overlaps with other climate goals and sustainability goals, but we're going to be reporting on the very specific initiatives that we know for a fact can reduce extreme heat or improve our awareness and response to extreme heat. Next. I'll talk a little bit about our heat public awareness and engagement campaign. I'm sure you have heard by now about our Heat Relief for LA campaign. As I said earlier, we're prioritizing our outreach to the most heat-burdened communities, but we have distributed our information to like 75 to 100 CBOs, the neighborhood councils, all of our libraries, rec and park facilities. The distribution has been pretty significant, and our public service announcement on the bus shelters has been a collaborative project with the Bureau of Street Services and the Board of Public Works. And on our logo, we have many partners that are both nonprofit, LA County, DWP. So that means that that material just gets distributed to even wider and wider audiences. And that campaign is all about heat safety. So people can be aware that heat waves are more frequent, of longer duration, and therefore more dangerous, because when you can't recover from a heat wave, that makes you more vulnerable to heat injury. And it's a multilingual, multicultural approach. We have it in at least 15 different languages right now and counting. We also contracted with Promotoras to do door-to-door. We have a pretty broad-based social media strategy in partnership with nonprofit organizations. We also share our information with council offices and their district offices, and really anybody who wants some of our materials just comes up to the 9th floor, and Amy or somebody on our staff will make sure that they get our materials to distribute. And it's been quite successful, and we're excited about what the next version will bring. I think the next couple of pages are just some of the graphics that we've used for our heat campaign, so we can move right along to page number 8, Mayor's Special Projects. So this is just to point out to you that we work very closely with MOES and MOPS, and most recently we've been included in the Mayor's Climate Cabinet, and CMO is leading on the Climate and Heat Resilience Working Group, and that's basically where we will be sharing and socializing the Heat Action and Resilience Plan. And we have also been part of the advisory group for the LA 28 Olympics and their quarterly meetings, particularly on issues of extreme heat. And there are a few others that I won't point out here, but it's great to be able to work with them when we can represent the city and also share our climate progress and climate goals with the broader public. I think I've already shared the priority policy areas for CMO. So we can go straight to page 10. Nope, let's go straight to page 11, guys. I want to move this along. So what you'll have on page 11 are the community outreach engagement metrics for Q3 and Q4 of fiscal year 23-24. You've asked us in the past to document our progress for how many people attended our community assemblies. Here we have 200. And how many panels were we on? We were on 8 panels, but we reached almost 3,700 people that attended those panels. And it goes on. I think our newsletter has gotten a lot of visibility. We have here that 14,273 individuals have been reached with our newsletter. And our shelter PSAs, we were able to get from the vendor that it had 5.9 million eyes on it, which is pretty amazing. And we'll continue to try to refine these metrics moving forward. And then the next part is our website metrics. And we've been told that for being such a new small office, that the metrics for our website are actually quite good for a government office. So we're proud of that. And then you can see at the bottom what our social media metrics are, et cetera. So we're going to continue to refine those metrics moving forward because we know how important that is to ensure that the information gets out there. Next. Okay. I don't think I need to go through everything here, but let's go straight to community outreach and engagement because I think I have something new there. With the number of media placements mentioned by CMO and CHO on print, radio, and podcasts, including with newspapers like the LA Times, we've had 30 million impressions, 32 million impressions. So that's all of this for us is really important and significant so that we can continue to make progress on that year after year. And it also shows the city and you how we're spending our money and how effective we are at spending our money on campaigns. And then this just shows the growth of our staffing and projections. Next year, we hope to, or in this budget season, for the next budget season, we hope to ask for a local hire, a fallow, and also more funds for the heat relief campaign. And we just submitted actually our revised wish list to the executive office. Let's move on from grants because I think I've already talked about the grant that we applied to that we're still waiting on. And I think that's it. Is that it? All right. Well, thank you. I think that kind of sums it up, and I'm here for any questions you might have.
Thank you. Thanks for all of your information. appreciate all of this. I know that you and your team have your work cut out for you. It's not just, keeping up with the extreme heat that we have, but it's also immense requests that your team has been getting, not just from council, but from the departments. And I'm glad that you're keeping metrics on everything that we're doing. It's good that just for sharing purposes, we do know that both, LA Sanitation and Street Services are doing significant amount of, work just on natural-based solutions on stormwater and also just on trees. So I'm glad that you're just, significantly collaborating with them,
Yeah.
just on this effort. And then, just listening to yesterday's plum meetings and, I heard the whole synthetic turf issue. So I know that you guys are collaborating on that as
Yeah,
well.
we were asked to identify university to do a study on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I say you guys have your work cut out for you. And then just hopeful on these other grants as well. And thank you for also just sharing just all the departments that you're working with and just the metrics, with on social media and on your touch points, with engagement. These are really significant.
Thank you.
You do have a good team behind you, and commend you and your entire team on that. Commissioners, do we have any questions?
Yeah, I just first want to thank you for this this is a semi-annual report, correct? Thank you for it. And I wanted to just ask some basic informational questions in terms of the work that we're doing here in the city of Los Angeles. When we think about our partners in terms of the county and our other neighboring municipal organizations, are we the only one with a plan for this heat comprehensive strategy
will-
that we have?
Yeah, that's a great question. We'll be the first city in the West Coast on track to have a heat action resilience plan, but LA County, we're part of their steering committee for the development of their county-wide heat action plan that focuses more so on the unincorporated areas of LA County. But we work very closely with the sustainability office at LA County, and we hope that both between their template and our plan, we can provide guidance to other municipalities and other governmental entities, definitely in the region. And then whoever else would like to benefit from that is going to be welcome to use it as a framework.
Great. As we look at our heat action and resilience plan and the 5 tracks that we work from, what would you say in terms of this particular semi-annual report has been our strength in this particular reporting period?
I think our strength has been in communicating and conveying through our public awareness campaign the significance and the danger of extreme heat as LA's primary climate hazard, not just to other city leaders and municipalities, but to the public and to some of our most vulnerable communities. Because it's one thing to say, hydrate yourself, stay in the shade, stay out of the sun. But it's another thing to have people recognize that extreme heat is much more of a risk now, since we have these 10-day heat waves, right? Or 3-week heat waves sometimes that really wear down on the outdoor workers and people with pre-existing conditions and our seniors and all of these families. We encourage them, the communities and the families, to work together to take care of each other, but to recognize the change in the climate, the change in extreme heat, and the importance of preparing in advance. And I think another strength has been working really collaboratively with Public Works, Emergency Management Department, Rec and Parks, and everybody who kind of pulls together for emergency operations for our heat alerts. We're one of the advisors to the Mayor's Office of Public Safety on how many cooling centers the city needs to open for each heat alert. And so it's been a really amazing experience being embraced by these departments who have a lot of strength and history working on emergency operations. But what we bring is this extra expertise on the risks of extreme heat and the specific vulnerabilities in Los Angeles so that we can cater the deployment of our resources more adequately.
as we look at our challenges in terms of these, obviously often emergency heat episodes, what is our challenge in terms of how we better manage this confrontation that we have inevitably because of the work we're doing? Is it the lack of resources that we need? Is it our timeliness to respond to them? Or
Yeah.
what do you see our challenges as being?
Yeah. So there's mitigation, adaptation, and response, right? So there's these three different areas we work in, and I think that definitely there's a lack of resources for everyone, right? But we've been able to make headway in public awareness with limited resources. So I think we're making a lot of progress there. I think where the city's going to have some major challenges is in decarbonizing its infrastructure equitably throughout the city and investing in the historically redlined areas. So and those areas require a lot more investment than the areas that have had more recent investments, right? So I think our biggest challenge is to identify funding to ensure that we have a more heat resilient city everywhere equitably, and that we are able to draw down funding from the federal government and the state government and philanthropy in order to address that. And that's one thing else I wanted to add. So this Heat Action Resilience Plan will make us more visible to the state and the federal government, who are increasing their funding specifically for extreme heat infrastructure. And I hope that this plan puts us up on their radar so that they understand that the city of Los Angeles is really thinking in a coordinated fashion and aligning all of their strategies to maximize the resources that they may give us. And that's what we hope this plan will do, is draw down much more funding for those projects.
In this report, as we reflect back upon the work that we've been doing and the outreach that we have had in terms of increasing awareness with Los Angelenos, obviously nationally there's always been some constituencies who have some doubt, the doubting Thomases, about this work. What have you observed in this last report in terms of our work? Have we been able to successfully build a coalition of increased support for the work that we're doing?
I think so, 100%. Because 2.5 years ago, when we first started, people were going, why should we even address extreme heat? We have so many challenges and priorities. And now these very same community leaders are excited about addressing extreme heat because they're getting the resources from the state or the federal government or philanthropy to work on extreme heat with us. And so that's made it a better, improved coalition, so that, you know, we need to compensate the nonprofits and community leaders that are working on this issue, but also with city leaders. More and more are including heat mitigation goals into their plans. Like I said, LHMP and Department of City Planning, DWP, Rec and Parks, libraries, for example, started a pilot program on expanding their libraries as cooling centers. So I think we've received a very warm reception by other city leaders and communities as well, and that coalition is strengthening.
Again, once again, thank you again for this report, and I'm sure that the board will certainly look forward to your future reports on the progress we're making on climate emergency mobilization. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis.
All right. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Commissioner Corso, did you have questions?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry about that. We have
One more.
Yeah.
I'll keep it short, maybe. You know, Dr. Davis was talking about resources. You know, your last semi-annual report was before the current fiscal year. And a lot of departments are dealing with budget cuts and service cuts. And I keep going back to your overarching goal. I am just curious, because it seems like a end of the world and we're just trying to stave it off as long as we can when it comes to heat resiliency. How do you measure your success? Because I know it's not just the social media posts and awareness posts, but in terms of making progress of delaying the inevitable. How are you on a semi-annual basis when you come to us? How are you measuring your team's success?
Well, when I reflect upon what makes me happy and excited about the progress that we've made is when I get another general manager, assistant general manager, other city leaders discussing these issues with me on a frequent basis, right? When this issue is being socialized among those leaders. You know, being invited to the Mayor's Climate Cabinet for me was an honor and an opportunity to ensure that our heat action resilience plan wasn't just a CMO or public works plan, but it was a citywide plan supported by the Office of the Mayor. So I see that as success and another opportunity to ensure that this plan is something that really works for the city to meet our goals that specifically mitigate extreme heat. So the biggest challenge, I think, for all of us in every department is to communicate and convey the work that we're doing and to get the support from other departments and other city leaders in order to accomplish it, because all of us don't work in a silo. We work collaboratively, and the better collaboration and coordination we have, the better the work gets done. So for me, I think that that has been a sort of a hallmark of CMO. We came in this knowing that we needed to collaborate and coordinate with multiple departments, and every time we get a new department and excited about our work included in our strategies, that makes me very happy and hopeful that this is going to work. But you're right, you know, it's we have to mix hard work and hope together, because the consequences are predicted to be so dire. But I do think that Los Angeles has a phenomenal opportunity with the goals that we have for tree canopy, vegetation, open space, decarbonization, EV charging stations, all of that we're leading. And we want to continue to lead, but that's why I hope that this plan can help us get the resources that we need to make infrastructure progress, not just collaborative progress, right? To make that a reality. Thank you.
Thanks. I will say also just, you know, another part of, you know, just measuring your success is just, you know, the team that you brought on before any of these, you know, job freezes were done, I think is just speaks volumes to your tenacity to be able to bring on key leaders to your team. And I further will say that you and your team are constantly grant writing, looking for additional money. The ones that you highlighted here is just, you have a lot of other grants as well. So, I mean, there's, you know, it speaks volumes to the amount of like work that you all have done. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And wonderful. Thank you for the report. All right, let's move on then to item number 2. And I think we have public comment for item number 2. I have 2 comment cards for the public here. Person with the name Clark. Person with the name Clark. Clark. All right, it's just for the record, I did call them 3 times. All right, and then we have another person with the letter N. Person with the letter N for item number 2. N. All right, they're not here. All right, and then I think we have some public comments on Zoom.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. A quick announcement for our attendees who are joining us via the virtual platform. I do make an announcement generally at the beginning of the meeting prior to the start of the meeting about 10 a.m. in which I inform attendees here in the room of the process by which they can offer public comment or commentary on any of our items. I make a similar announcement to those attendees who are joining us via Zoom. We have, in fact, closed commentary on our climate emergencies report. So I did see one of our commenters raising and lowering their hand. So I do make make numerous attempts to engage the public to offer opportunities to provide your information for public comment and commentary on our items. With that said, moving on to item 2, we do have Audit LA. Audit LA. We are on item 2, and you have 2 minutes to offer your commentary. We'll move to.
Yes, hi.
Oh, go ahead. Go
Can
ahead.
you please, point of clarification first, how much time do I have left? And can you remind me if the 10-minute rule includes public comment, or is that in addition to the 10 minutes?
I believe public comment is separate from the 10-minute rule, and city attorney is nodding in confirmation. Audit LA, you've used 3 minutes and counting of your allotted 10 minutes. It's because we have not yet moved to public comment.
Okay, so just to clarify, I have 7 minutes more for the agenda items, but I still have my 2 minutes separate from that for public comment.
Yes, that's accurate.
Okay, and that's confirmed by the attorney. Okay, thank you. Okay, for this agenda item, I want to ask that all of these architects that they be screened to know, because what we want to know, are they owned by Scientologists or have high-level managers that are Scientologists? And the reason I ask that is because Scientology does a thing called safe pointing, where they ingrain themselves so deeply in city government and city
does
departments.
Scientology have anything to do with item number 2?
It is, do not, I am speaking on item
Sorry to
number
interrupt
2.
the public commentary. I just want to remind all members of the public that they need to stay on the topic of the agenda item for agenda item specific
on
comment.
agenda item 2, okay? I am discussing contracts. You're contracting with these companies, and I am telling you why I'm concerned, because I don't know whether or not they are owned by Scientologists. Because Scientology gets their way, okay, because they ingrain themselves. I want to make sure that you have evaluated that none of these 15 or how many architects are not going to be doing that. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you.
Just put it for the public record, if you can, please. I'm asking if, the caller was making asking if, any of the architects that are going to be used for this are going to be Scientologists. And I'm asking if that is relevant to public comment.
Yes, it is, because
Conflict of interest is what she's searching for.
City Attorney, can you please speak on that?
So it's not my role to determine whether or not something is relevant to public comment. That's in the discretion of the chair. But I can remind public commenters that they do need to stay on the topic of the agenda item for agenda item specific comment.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so I will consider this a warning then to the public commenter.
So a warning to Audit LA, please stay on topic. Second warning will result in your removal from the meeting or your inability to offer commentary on the rest of the agenda items. Thank you, and we'll move next to Henri. Henri, we are on agenda item 2, and you have 2 minutes to offer your commentary. Henri. I can't tell who is speaking. I don't see a microphone moving, but I do not see Henri unmuting. I do see additional hands raised. Okay, Henri, go ahead. You should be able to speak now, and you'll have 2 minutes to offer your commentary on item number 2. Go ahead.
Yes, hello. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. We're on item 2.
Okay, yes, perfect. We're talking about the joint report here. So my question on this is, I want to ask the board, what is your background in accurately being able to assess the legitimacy and technical standing on this matter? From what I understand, nobody on this board has any sort of professional engineering license or training in what it takes to carry off not only these technical projects, but really any of these points. And I'm at a loss for how it is that an entire board can be compromised with without any technical folks that have zero training in civil engineering to make decisions on civil engineering matters. I just don't seem to understand, and I will openly admit I'm a fool and an idiot in this regard, and I would absolutely love it if you could explain to me how it is that these highly technical matters are being executed upon by this board without any serious engineering or technical background at all.
Thank you, Henry. And we do, Vice President Villegas, we do have an additional hand raised for someone who may want to offer commentary on item 3. If you'd like, I can ask if the Zoom commenter. Scott, would you like to offer commentary on item 2?
Yeah, I would love to. Can you
Go
hear
ahead,
me?
you have 2 minutes.
Yes, for all this climate change and everything, I really feel like this board needs to learn about permaculture and
So
how
we're now on
all-
item 2. We've already taken public comment. We've heard and closed public comment on the climate emergencies report. We're now on item 2. Would you like to offer commentary on item 2, Scott?
Yes, this is about you guys are using some contractors for some of the work for this, for item 2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and so my concern would be the contractors that you're using, do any of them have ties to Scientology? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
I yield my time.
Okay.
That concludes commentary on item number 2.
Thank you. And we have a caller here, an in-person comment for item number 3.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Liz Johnson, please.
Well, when we get to that, Moore's currently at item 2, so we'll take Liz.
I'm so sorry. You're right. I think this is the third item that we're taking for this morning, but is item number 2. It is my mistake. Sorry about that. All right. Thank you for the correction. All right. This is a joint report for Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Contract Administration in all districts. A contract amendment number 2, Public Buildings and Open Spaces Program, recommending that the board approve and forward this report with transmittal to the mayor and city council, requesting the following: A, approve amendment number 2 to each of the contracts between the City of Los Angeles and the following 15 firms with active task orders at time of contract expiration to increase the total contract term of 10 years to 14 years. And I won't read all of the contractors on here. Item B, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute amendment number 2, and to notify the Bureau of Engineering Architectural Division, Stephen Fierce at stephen.fierce@lacity.org, with the amendments are ready to be executed by the board, whereupon the electronic copy of the amendments will be delivered to the executive officer of the board for signature September 18, 2024, joint report number page 2 and 3. Upon execution, request the city clerk to attest and certify the electronic copies of amendment number 2. The city clerk and the board will each retain an electronic copy and forward the electronic copies to the BOE, Stephen Fierce. So I think we have Mr. Fierce back with us for item number 2.
Yes, again, good morning again. Yeah, my name is Steve Fierce. I'm the principal architect with the Bureau of Engineering. And these 15 contracts are pre-qualified on-call consultant contracts for as-needed services and do not commit the city to any expenditures. Funds are encumbered on the project on a project-by-project basis from various funding sources at the time the specific task orders are awarded to the firms. And so for some background on this, on December 19th, 2012, the BOE issued a request for qualifications for a PQOC architectural and related professional services for various projects. And on June 11th, 2014, the board adopted the board report recommending the execution of the proposed contracts with 20 firms. The board authorized amendment number 1 to the contracts on September 11th, 2019, extending them for an additional 5 years. So amendment number 2 is for each of the 15 contracts, which are needed to give the consultants the additional time to complete their existing task orders and enable the BOE to issue task order solicitations for new projects as required. The proposed amendment number 2 will extend the term of the contracts for a maximum of an additional 4 years, allowing the city engineer and the board to authorize task orders for these firms until a successor list of the PQOC architectural consultant contract is executed. The BOE is in the process of establishing a new PQOC architectural consulting list, but may not be able to execute new contracts before the existing contracts expire. Regarding the business inclusion program, the BOE and BCA will report back to the board within 120 days of the amendment number 2. And the required notification of intent to contract form was submitted to the city administrative officer. The CAO determined that it was more feasible to utilize consultants to perform the work rather than the city employees. The proposed amendment has been reviewed and approved as to form by the city attorney's office. Again, regarding the funding for this project, the proposed amendments extend the term of each contract, but not commit the city to any expenditure. With that, concludes my report.
All right. And commissioners, do we have any questions on this? Go ahead.
In terms of the contractors that we have chosen, what was the process by which we selected these?
Regarding these 15 that we're
Yes, sir.
requesting to be extended,
Yes, sir.
yes. The reason why we chose these 15 from the original 20 was that we are just choosing firms that currently have active task order solicitations that are either ongoing or in negotiation. We're currently working on establishing a new pre-qualified list, and so we're looking to have for this to kind of term out.
Okay, so of the list of 20 that we currently have, these 15 are active.
That is correct.
So we selected these.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Fierce, how long have these contractors been with us?
It's 10 years that they've been under this contract, and we're seeking to extend it by 4 years.
Okay. And then you mentioned, and it's in our board report as well, that they need 4 years. Is that right, to complete the existing tasks that they have?
Yeah, we think that's adequate time. We should be completed prior to that, because once we get our new list, we're not going to be using this anymore.
I will say that that's a lot of time, if for contractors that we're not even opening it up and being opportunities for other firms. So these are going to get business locked in with the city for a total of 14 years. Does it have to be 4 years?
We think that is our recommendation from the standpoint that we don't have our new list in place, and that some of these task orders are just being initiated, and the typical duration of a project
They
could
were
be 4
initiated
years.
knowing that the list was going to finish?
Well, we're
That's disappointing.
well, we're in the process of establishing a new list, and that process has been roughly 2 years now, and we expect to bring our new list to the board in about a month. So we're going to be establishing a new list. The real challenge that we had was that we have all of these ongoing projects. In fact, maybe just a little background on it was that since the inception of this contract, there's been 104 task order solicitations that were issued under this contract. So currently, there's 55 task orders that are active, and they're in various stages of the work. And so we just feel that it's not beneficial to just term out, and that would actually impact those 55 active task orders, those projects that are ongoing.
I understand. Look, this isn't the first time that the city goes through something like this where we have outstanding tasks. We went through something similar with the Bureau of Sanitation. And what the Bureau of Sanitation did was create like a 6-month term for them to finish their tasks. I don't think I'm prepared to vote for a 4-year extension today.
And I have another
If
follow-up
I
question.
might maybe clarify a little bit, in the nature of the work that may be in sanitation, I'm not familiar with that, but they may
I
be able
understand.
to turn, they may be able to conclude their work. In this situation, our projects often take 4 to 5 years. It would be difficult to term them out and stop the project and put it out to bid again, and that takes like a year. I mean, it would significantly impact the projects that are currently under those task orders.
Okay.
I want to follow.
All right. All right. So you would need additional time for some of the existing of the 55 tasks that are active right now. They would need an additional 4 years
That's
because of the level of work that they're doing.
that is correct.
Can you give us, in your time here, can you give us a little example of the type of work that we're talking about?
Yes, there's quite a few, and so some of the work that we're talking about are the current homeless projects that are ongoing, and those are task orders that, and I mentioned earlier, they're active. A lot of those have just been initiated. Some of those projects are being negotiated right now, and can't really wait. Those don't have as long of a duration, this 4 years. Most of those projects will probably be concluded within the next 6 to 9 months. There are other projects that have been in the works for quite a long time to get the scope of work defined, to put the task order out, get negotiated, and those projects are now just beginning. And if we weren't to allow those projects to move forward with this current selection of the architect, that would delay those projects out until the new list is established, and that could delay those projects maybe by a year.
Yeah, clearly we wouldn't want that, but I would have expected the Bureau to also have the architecturalist in advance
Mhm.
of the 10-year mark.
Understood.
Did you have other questions?
Yeah, I had one follow-up question. Obviously, this is a proposal for public buildings and open space, and oftentimes we like to make sure that we have as many opportunities available on our work as we can. In terms of the 5 individual firms that were not active, could you discuss for me how these firms were not able to be active, the other 5? We've only chosen 15, right? But the 5, what were some of the circumstances as to why they were not currently active and could be included in?
Well, the reason why they're currently active, there's a number of reasons that could be involved in that. They may not have proposed on work, um, and but our goal really is, as I think in agreement with you, is to have more opportunities for firms. We really do want to let this contract just run its course, and we're not anticipating to continue to add task orders to this. We have a new list. It's very robust. We've been working on it for about almost 2 years now to get this for you, and which we will be bringing that report in I think about a month. And that list has about 45 plus firms on it that we're going to be bringing forward. So the reason for the not including these 5 is just that they simply did not have active task orders either in process or in negotiation. And we just wanted to limit
We
the
just
list.
didn't get to them in terms of task in the past. Is that correct?
They may just not have proposed on past task orders. That does happen quite often.
I just really am trying to explore the possibility of inclusiveness of all of them, and if that were at all possible or not, in as much as the scope of work is centered around public buildings and open space. And we had at least 20, that the 5 that we have not continued to include, that it was no necessarily fault of their own in terms of their activeness. I just wanted to determine how that took place, and in a perfect world, would love to make sure that we could include as many of our businesses as possible to be considered for the work, if that would not have adverse impact on the Bureau for that to happen.
The only adverse impact would be just in regards to the staff time and commitment that's required to extend and execute these contracts. So each contract does require a certain amount of staff time, administrative effort to bring those forward. And from our standpoint, these were inactive. They don't have any tosses. They're and we're really not seeking to award. I think in the spirit of Commissioner Villegas' comments, we're really not seeking to continue to award projects to a list that's been with us for 10 years. We're really looking forward to just concluding that contract, and we're looking forward very much so to our upcoming new list.
I'm going to interrupt quickly. You're disrupting the meeting. The two gentlemen in the front, this is your first and only warning. This is not a discussion. If you interrupt the meeting again, you'll be ejected. If you interrupt the meeting again, you will be removed from the meeting.
Wait a minute, who are you talking to?
Okay. There's two people right here. This is your first and only warning.
Identify who you're speaking to, because you're putting me on a picture.
Security guard, if you could please come and remove these two individuals from the meeting. They're disrupting the meeting. They've been warned and they continue to disrupt the meeting. Thank you.
You're not the chair.
Thank you.
You're not the chair. You're not the chair.
I agree with him.
The city attorney, he's not the chair. Only the chair can do that. You can't do that.
The chair just stated for the record that she agreed with the statement by the executive officer.
Actually give the warning first, and she didn't do it. No, the chair did not give the warning. That's not the way it works, lady. That's not the way it works. The chair has to give the warning first. This guy is not a commissioner. He is not appointed by the city attorney. He can't do that. He's a staffer.
This is not a discussion. You've been ejected from the meeting.
Who the hell is this guy to do this? He has no authority. He has no authority. He has no authority whatsoever to do that. He has no authority. You have zero authority to do that. You have no, Davis, he has no authority. He's not a commissioner. He's not on the commission.
Attorney, who is he? Who's his dick?
Why? It's not a business meeting. It's a Brown Act meeting. It's not a business meeting. He has no authority. It's got nothing to do with disruption. It can't be a technical disruption.
Yeah, this is disrupting this meeting. You're interrupting. Security guard, please take him away.
You're causing the
Please take them away.
You're causing the disruption. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. Corsan, you know he can't do this. City attorney, you know he can't do this.
Yeah.
Davis, you know he can't do this. He is not.
We must take a break for a little bit until we can get these two gentlemen escorted out.
He is not on the commission. The chair did not give the warning. The chair did not rule a disruption. It's not legal. Right? Come on, Davis.
The chair is the person who is in charge of the meeting.
Back me up, Davis.
We're not on a tit for tat.
You know what it is? Remember your friend Joel Jacinto, your fellow commissioner? He's talking to the FBI. Back me up. Back me up. Kevin James was rumored to be an informant for the FBI. Back me up. Back me up. Tell her she's wrong. You just fucking like her. You want to be one of them? You're proving. Okay? You're doing exactly what the state bar says the deputy city attorneys do. They're breaking the law. They're not advising the chair. And you have been here the longest. All the times that Joe Jacinto was doing what he was allegedly doing, you had knowledge. You had constructive knowledge. So they're going to call LAPD. They're going to use violence against me because you don't follow the law. That's the problem. The chair has to make a ruling, otherwise it's not a disruption. is not a commissioner. He's not a commissioner. You know, you can misuse Lucas all you want. That's why the state laws are going down the road.
All right, we're continuing with our meeting. We will continue with our meeting. We're still on item number 2. And then we will continue to item number 3. Thank you, Mr. Fierce, for your patience. All right, I don't see any other questions at hand here. And we have Commissioner Corsan, who took a break. And City Attorney, can we table this vote?
I'm sorry, so you're speaking about item number 2?
Yeah, item number 2. We just want to.
Number 2, pay attention, asshole.
We would like to take a vote, but I see that Commissioner Corsan isn't here. And I was asking if we should table the vote or how we should handle it.
Just like Mr. Clark, you're a bunch of criminals protecting your interests.
Yeah, so I would table, you can't take the vote without a quorum, so I would table the item until a quorum returns to the meeting.
I vote no.
Okay.
I vote no. I vote no. I vote no. I vote no. So long,
Yeah.
niggers.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm sorry, before we continue, this is Deputy City Attorney Thomas Costello Vega. I just want to state into the record that 2 individuals were evicted from the meeting after being warned multiple times by both TJ Knight, the Assistant Executive Officer, and the Chair of the meeting to stop disrupting the meeting with loud argument during the discussion of item number 2 outside of the public comment period, and they were subsequently removed.
Thank you. All right, then just as soon as Mr. Knight comes back, we can continue with a vote on this item, and as soon as Commissioner Corsan comes back, we will continue with that. All right, then we will continue then for item number 3, and at least take up public comment on that item. And I do see that we have, is that in our Robert's Rules of Order? Mr. City Attorney, can we still do that?
So it appears we now have a quorum again, and so if you would like to
Thank you.
continue with item 2, or if you would like to move on to another item and return to item 2, it's up to you how to proceed now.
Thank you. Yeah. We never took a break, Mr. Knight, but we couldn't continue with our business because we didn't have quorum with Commissioner Corsan leaving. But seeing that everyone is back now, if we could please take a vote on item number 2.
Very well. Item number 2, we will take a roll call vote, starting with you, Madam Vice President,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 2 is approved and will be referred to Mayor and Council forthwith.
Thank you. All right, let's move on then to item number 3. Thank you, Mr. Fierce. Sorry about that. All right, item number 3, and we do have public comment on this. Ms. Liz Johnson, I called you earlier, but I was mistaken. If you wanted to speak on item number 3, the floor is yours.
Hi. I don't come to these very often, but they're quite exciting. My name is Liz Schindler Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of Grand Vision Foundation. We are a nonprofit organization in San Pedro, a section of the city of Los Angeles, that was formed in 1996 to save the historic Warner Grand Theater on 6th Street in San Pedro from being turned into a swap meet or possibly destroyed. And our organization has been an active advocate for the theater, which is beloved in our area of the South Bay and the harbor area for many years. We've worked closely with the city of Los Angeles to turn it into a performing arts venue. And I wanted just to express my extreme gratitude for the upcoming renovation that was spearheaded by our former councilman, Buscaino, and then followed up beautifully by our current councilman, Mr. Tim McCosker. I also wanted to thank the people on the committee that have worked very hard, especially Marcus Yee, who worked tirelessly to bring this to this point. So I just wanted to say I'm super excited and thrilled that this very beautiful building, which desperately needs a renovation, is a public building, serves, it has 1,500 seats, and the bathrooms have become decidedly optional. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So we need this renovation. We're so excited for the contractor to have been selected, and I just wanted to thank you for supporting this motion or item. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Knight, we have people on Zoom.
We do. We have 2 commenters on item number 3 who are on the virtual platform. If I could ask Audit LA to unmute, and you have 2 minutes to offer your commentary.
Before I give my commentary, I'd like to have a point of clarification with the city attorney, please. With the previous motion, I was giving commentary that was on topic. Even Commissioner Davis recognized that
So we're
I
on
was
item
trying
number
to,
3?
No, I'm asking the city attorney. I am not giving comment yet. I'm asking for clarification. Okay? He understood what I was doing. I'm sorry that the vice president didn't. I was trying, and so I do not deserve a warning because I was on topic. I was concerned about a conflict of interest, and I want my warning
So we're on
removed.
item number 3, which is a contract award.
That's why
Please
this is
stay
a
on
point
topic.
of clarification prior to my thing.
And so if you're not going to speak to the item,
Okay, I will speak to the item. You've been duly noted. As far as theaters, I love theaters. I'm a theater person. But I do not see why the city has to spend $17 million for a theater. Okay, I love that it's historic, but there's so many people and organizations that would, I'm sure, love to step up and help save that theater. We need our streets to be navigated, to be able to be navigated by people like myself in chairs. And I'm not trying to be selfish, okay? It's not just me. There's a lot of people in chairs who their chairs are breaking and getting injured. I've been injured because the streets and sidewalks are not navigable, okay? And we're going to put 17 million. How many curb cutouts could that money go to? But it's going to one theater? Are you kidding me? Crowdsource that project. Crowdsource it. Sell the project. If it's a city entity, sell it and give it to and let the historic foundations that are private pay for it. I reserve the rest of my time. I yield back the rest of my time.
thank you. And we have next Henri. Henri, you have 2 minutes to offer your comment on item number 3. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning again. Are you able to hear me well? Yes, hello. Can you hear me well? Hello?
Your time
Can
is
you hear me
running.
well?
Do you have a public comment? Please speak now.
Yes, I am unmuted. Can you hear me? I'm asking to see if you can hear me.
Your time is
Hello?
running. You can speak now, please.
Yes, I am speaking. Do you not see me? I am speaking right now. Jesus fucking H Christ. Hello?
Yes, you have 60 seconds left, and you're on item number 3. We can hear you.
So the entire minute you can hear me, but nobody confirmed. You just let my time run out. Great, thanks. So as usual here, right, my point here is that you're trying to actively kill free speech, which you just demonstrated with your negligence of alerting me that my time was running out, despite constant points of clarification. By the way, that's a Robert's Rules of Order 101, and you don't even know that. I know that. I know that. Are you kidding me? Total incompetency from you guys. Just absolute incompetency. I take my time back.
Thank you, Henri. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute, and that concludes our commentary for item number 3.
Thank you. All right, item number 3 is with the Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Contract Administration. And this is a contract award for Warner Grand Theater project, recommending that the board declare 2H Construction Incorporated the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award 2H Construction a contract for Warner Grand Theater for project in the amount of $17,997,000. And number 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. And for this item, oh, we also have Mr. Fierce.
Yes, thank you. So the Warner Grand Theater was opened in 1931 by film pioneer Jack Warner and is one of the 3 neighborhood movie palaces commissioned by the Warner Brothers in the Los Angeles region. The Department of Cultural Affairs has operated the theater since 1996 as a multi-use facility and primarily as a rental facility. The theater does contain approximately 1,500 seats. Council District Number 15, DCA, and community stakeholders in the San Pedro South Bay area are supportive of making the much-needed renovations and improvements to the historic theater to allow the facility to better serve the citizens of San Pedro and to the broader community at large. The project includes general renovations, tenant improvements, including Americans with Disability Act, ADA, access and egress, restroom upgrades, new elevator, stage lift, VIP lounge and wheelchair lift, front staff office with a break room, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, electrical, fire life safety system upgrades, and it will also provide restoration of various historic elements. The contract duration is 500 calendar days, and the project has been reviewed for environmental considerations and was determined to be categorically exempt pursuant to the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act. The lowest bid was from 2H Construction, and the bid amount was $17,997,000, and that was 8.3% higher than the city engineer estimate. The project was advertised with the anticipated participation levels of 10% for MBE, 4% WEB, 25% SBE, 8% EBE, and 3% DVBE. 2H Construction reported that the contractor pledged participation levels of 1.64% MBE, 0% WBE, 6.5% SBE, and 4.87% EBE, 1.09% DVBE. The mandatory subcontracting minimum requirements for this project is 25%, and the contractor has complied by pledging a subcontractor participation level of 39.95%. 2H Construction is a first-time bidder and has no record having worked on any previous contracts awarded by the Board of Public Works within the last 5 years. And the Office of Contract Compliance has checked with various state agencies, and none of these agencies have reported any labor compliance problems on file concerning the contractor. This project does include a project labor agreement, and 2H Construction has agreed to extend their bid bond until October 11th, 2024. Funding for this project originates from the General Fund and the Municipal Corporation of Los Angeles, MICLA funds. So with that, that concludes my presentation.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Commissioners, do we have questions on this item?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Wanted to get a little bit more clarity on when phase 2 would be out to bid and if the current contractor would be able to participate. I know it says this one is 500 days, just what that looks like in the scope of the whole project.
Yeah, well, we have not begun design of the phase 2 project at this time. And so in order to, once this project is complete and the funding is identified and we'll do our pre-design analysis for phase 2, we'll initiate that work. But at this time, we just have not initiated the phase 2 work to move that forward.
Okay. And then could you provide a little bit more clarity on what the scope of this project is and what the future scopes, I said scopes, I know it could just be one scope, but what the future scopes could possibly be.
Yeah, so to maybe to restate the scope of work, let me just, I want to find it real quick. The scope of this work really focused on ADA compliance and restroom upgrades, and we are elevator is part of that. Meeting ADA compliance is bringing an elevator into the facility. It's also looking at a stage lift, which is associated with ADA, and then we have a VIP lounge. We went through a series of prioritization. There's a lot of work on this theater that will be ongoing. And so these are our first kind of priority list items. And so the VIP lounge with a wheelchair lift is included in that priority list, the front staff office and break room. So the heating and ventilation work is also a priority item. And all of the fire life safety items we identified as priority items. So additionally, we've identified some historic restoration of the work, and that work is really centered on the exterior facade and the foyer and the historic ceilings, walls and columns and pilasters and flooring and railings in the main lobby, and improvements to the concession stands. So that's be our phase one, and that was our priority list. So we do have a very long list of items that we want to have in phase two. So ultimately the goal is to, bring this, the entire theater up to a state-of-the-art facility. And so we will work through the remaining items to prioritize it as the funding becomes available and we can identify a project scope for phase two. And, but that ideally would include renovation of the auditorium itself.
And then my last question, there's Vision Theater, there's Madrid, now this one, there's like lessons learned from the other two. Vision has taken what feels like forever. And I know we have a stakeholder here from San Pedro and we have the council office here too. Like, what can we do so we don't have this one run into the same delays that Vision Theater has run into?
I think largely they're even though they're historic buildings and they have a lot of renovation work, each project is uniquely different, and the Vision Theater has very unique challenges to it outside of just, let's say, historic renovation. But I do think one of the main takeaways that we can really bring forward from our experience at Vision Theater is really, and Madrid, is how we approach the audiovisual, the theatrical lighting needs, so the performance space requirements. So we did gain a lot of knowledge or experience from those two projects that we can bring forward here.
Thank you. All right, and Commissioner or Pro Tem Davis.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was out of the room temporarily. Did you talk about the time period that you anticipate will be involved?
Yeah, this contract is for 500 calendar days.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right, and Commissioners, do we have any further questions on this item? I don't see any other questions. Did you have a question? No? All right, do we have a motion to move this item?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Knight, we have a motion by Commissioner Corson and a second by Pro Tem Davis.
Very well, we'll take a roll call vote on an approval of item number 3, starting with you, Madam Vice President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
All ayes, and item number 3 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Great, thank you so much. Thanks for your patience. All right, let's move on then to item number 4, and I think we have public comment on that one too. Why don't we take the callers on Zoom for public comment?
We do, starting with Audit LA. Audit LA, you have 2 minutes to offer your commentary on agenda item number 4.
Point of clarification, how much time do I have left minus public comment?
Go ahead.
How much time do I have left?
2, 4, 6, 7, 3 minutes.
Okay, we keep seeing Hyperion coming back for more money, more money, more money over and over and over again. I just have an honest question. Is this why our sewer bills are being doubled? I give back the rest of my time.
Henri? Henri, would you like to offer commentary on item number 3?
I will pass public comment on this point. Thank you.
Thank you. I do see a hand raised. Scott? Scott, would you like to offer commentary?
Yes, can you hear me?
I apologize. This is item number 4. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
All right, thanks. Thanks for answering that question. That was a real simple question. I yield my time.
Okay. That concludes commentary on item number 4.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Then,
Sorry about that. They've all been muted.
all right. Then we have item number 4 before us, and this is a motion by BOE, Council District 11, construction budget increase, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, emergency primary central scrubber facility upgrades. And this is a capital improvement project 2521, recommending that the board authorize a revised total construction budget for the project not to exceed $4,195,000, and that will include contingency. I think we have Mr. Nadir Shah before us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nadir Shah, Bureau of Engineering, Environmental Engineering Division. I am here to brief you on Capital Improvement Project 2521, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, Emergency Primary Central Scrubber Facility Upgrades. The project aims to ensure the facility meets emission standards by installing 3 temporary carbon scrubbers and upgrading 6 existing chemical scrubbers. These upgrades are critical for maintaining compliance with emission requirements and ensuring the long-term efficiency of the plant. Initially in September 2022, we received authorization to proceed with these upgrades with a budget cap of $4 million. The work was awarded to College & Sons LP, a contractor on top of the emergency pre-qualified on-call list. In May 2024, Commissioner Vegas approved additional work involving the installation of 6 programmable logic controllers to enhance control and monitoring of the scrubbers via the plant's distributed control system. The budget required for the additional work is $195,000, which will increase the total construction budget to $4,195,000. There will be no impact on the general fund as the required $195,000 has been allocated from the sewer capital fund. The project is approximately 95% complete with the estimated completion date of December 31st, 2024. Your authorization is requested to formally revise the construction budget to the updated total of $4,195,000. Thank you for your time. I am happy to address any question you may have.
Thank you. All right, and commissioners, do we have any questions on this item? No questions? All right, thank you for your report. I realize that this is, part of the ongoing efforts to upgrade our Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. Thanks for bringing this to our attention, and also just to be able to vote on it. Do we have a second to my motion to approve this item? All right, Mr. Knight, we have a motion by myself and a second by Pro Tem Davis. If you could please take it.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 4, starting with you, Madam Vice President,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 4 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you so much. All right, then let's move on to item number 5. And that's with BOE, and this is in Council District 3. And this is a revised funding table, Reseda Skate Facility Project, recommending that the board authorize and approve the revised funding as shown for the Reseda Skate Project Task Order Solicitation Number 57. And then we have a chart before us. And for this item, Mr. Fierce.
We do have public commenters.
Oh, excuse me.
Virtual.
Sorry about that. We do have public comment.
Starting with Audit LA. Audit LA, we are on agenda item 5, and you have 2 minutes to offer your comment. You have 2 minutes left.
Yes, thank you for not forgetting us. The rink sounds like a huge money pit. My suggestion is to please sell it, let private contractors or private people fund it, and let's put all that money towards making our streets able to be navigated by everybody, including the ADA community. I yield back the rest of my time.
Thank you. Henri? Henri, you have 2 minutes to offer your commentary on agenda item 5.
I would love to hear from the board what their favorite flavor of.
So we're on agenda item 5?
Yes, for control systems on making the skate park building a smooth process while operating some of the equipment listed on some of these budget items. I personally am a big fan of the Emerson Delta V. I know Ovation offers a really great historian as well as a backup for the application as well as the hardware, and would just love to hear what expertise you have on some of these distributed control systems that manage the operation necessary to build out the skate park. You know, I hear you guys are great experts at this stuff, and you know, just love to hear your feedback. I'm sure we could all gain a lot of knowledge from your professional engineering experience on this. I yield my time.
And that concludes commentary on item number 5.
All right, then let's continue. And before us, we will have Mr. Fierce speak on this item.
Yes, hello. So this motion is requesting approval of the revised funding table for our TAS number 57 to provide architectural design services to the Reseda Skate Facility Project, also known as the Reseda Ice Hockey, Ice Skating and Roller Rink Facility, with a budget authority of $2,200,000. For for the fund number 43K, Department number 10, Appropriation Unit number 10 RPBM, amount of $122,447.47 was inadvertently overspent during the design phase to address the need for surveying and permitting use. As a result, the Municipal Corporation of Los Angeles MICLA funding in the same amount has been identified to fulfill the city's obligations for this TAS 57 with this motion. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. And commissioners, do we have any questions on this clarification? Go ahead, Commissioner Corson.
No questions, no.
No? Oh, okay. And no questions on this item? Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Fierce, on this item. Then do we have a motion to approve this item?
Second.
All right. Thank you. I see that we do not have Mr. Knight at the desk right now, but Mr. City Attorney, can we still vote on this? And then when he comes back, I can let him know? Or how do we handle it?
I would advise just waiting for him to come back so that it's properly recorded the way he does it.
I appreciate it.
If that is okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll just take a minute break. Yeah. Thank you. All right.
And then Deputy City Attorney, really quickly, if you could restate just the motion in the second to make sure that's all recorded.
Thank you. Yes. We have a motion by Pro Tem Davis and a second by Commissioner Corsan to approve this item for the revised budget for item number 5.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote, starting with you, Madam Vice President. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Corsan.
Right.
All ayes, and item number 5 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. I think, Mr. Fierce, are you off the hook now? All right. Thank you so much. All right. Let's move on then to item number 6. And this is an administrative item. And do we have public comment on this item as well?
Yes, we do. We have 2 commenters for item number 6.
Okay.
Who are on the virtual platform, starting with Audit LA. Audit LA, you have 1 minute left, excluding public comment. Go ahead.
I reserve my time. I yield
Thank
back
you.
my time.
Thank you. Henri, you have 2 minutes to offer your commentary on item number 6. Go ahead.
No, I yield my time. I'm waiting for the next item. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes commentary on item number 6.
All right, so item number 6 is specifications submitted for the board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids in Council District 8 for Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities Program, Round 4, Vermont and Manchester Sustainable Transportation Infrastructure and Transit-Related Amenities Improvements in the amount of $5,715,040. All right, and for this item, since it's administrative, we will just make a motion to approve.
That is correct. A motion second, and then roll call vote.
All right, I will make a motion to approve this item.
Second.
All right, and Mr. Knight, we have a motion by myself and a second by Pro Tem Davis.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote for approval of item number 6, starting with you, Madam Vice President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
All ayes, and item number 6 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Great. All right, then we will go on to item number 7. And for this item, we also have public comment.
We do, starting with Audit LA. Audit LA, you have 50 seconds. Go ahead.
I yield my time. I have a minute because I did not use any of my time for the last one or this one.
And Henri Marini. Henri, go ahead. You have 2 minutes to offer your commentary on item number 6.
I also yield my time. Thank you.
Very well. That concludes commentary on item number 6. Madam Vice President.
Thank you. And item number 7 is specifications submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids in Council District 15, the Affordable and Housing Sustainable Communities Program, Round 4, Hollywood Arts Collective Sustainable Transportation Infrastructure and Transit-Related Amenities Improvements, estimated amount of $3,196,957 with the bid receipt date of Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. And do we have a motion to approve this item?
Second.
All right. Mr. Knight, if you could please take roll. We have a motion by Pro Tem Davis and a second by Commissioner Corsan.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on item number 7, starting with you, Madam Vice President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
And Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
All ayes, and item number 7 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
Great. All right. Then we do not have an oral report on the sidewalk and transit amenities program that has been rescheduled for, I think, October 25th. Is that right?
September 25th.
Oh, September 25th. Thank you. And then we finished item number 9, so then that leads us to item number 10. And this is advertisement number 1, specialized on-call services update from the Bureau of Sanitation.
Yes, and we do have,
Oh, do we have public comment?
we do. Starting with Audit LA, we're on item number 10.
I'm at 1 minute, I hope, because I did not use any public comment time. With the Department of Sanitation, the city has ordered Scientology to remove their planters that are not ADA compliant. So far, they have not. So I am asking you to please order the Department of Sanitation to remove all said planters. You have all the money for theaters and skating rinks, so please have it for the ADA. I appreciate it. I yield back the rest of my time.
Henri?
Thank you. Point of clarification, how much time do I have left for?
Henri, you have 2 minutes on this item.
Okay, thank you. For Department of Sanitation, I just want to make a note here as well, reiterating the comment by Audit LA that I have personally witnessed a congealing of sewage by Fountain Avenue thanks to the Church of Scientology illegally wasting water and backing up sewers. And I just want to make it a point that, yet again, the same illegal planters have also been caving in the sidewalks leading into the sewage. And it's a major safety hazard, not only for ADA compliance, but we're talking about destruction of public property. And I think if I can receive bogus vandalism charges, then at the very least, Scientology earns criminal vandalism charges for destroying city property. Thank you.
Thank you, Henri. I do see an additional hand raised. Scott? Scott, would you like to offer commentary on item number 10, Specialized On-Call Maintenance Services Update?
Yes, thank you, Council. I too am concerned about these planters being out in front of on Fountain Avenue and Ron Hubbard Way. They are a they are intruding on the ADA, the ability of wheelchairs to access the sidewalks. They are also impeding the ability of people to leave their vehicles from the sidewalks. These planters were used as some type of form to stop people from actively protesting in front of that building, and really looking for some remedy on that. The city on Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset, they removed all the planters there that were being used for the homeless. I'm wondering why they're getting special treatment, and why the laws are not being applied directly to them like they are in other places. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Scott. And that concludes commentary on item number 10.
Great, thank you. All right, so then we have from Bureau of Sanitation, Mr. Gilberto Martinez.
Hello everyone, my name is Gilberto Martinez and I'm a mechanical engineer at Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. I'm here today to present the oral report for the specialized as-needed maintenance contracts C136181 and 136182 for the contractors ACO Engineered Systems and Murray Company accordingly. For the first quarter of fiscal year 24-25, a total of 4 projects were initiated with Murray Company. The dollar value of these projects totaling $233,624. 0 projects were initiated with ACO Engineered Systems. The total for the fiscal year to date is 4 projects initiated with Murray for a total of $233,624, and the values for ACO Engineering have not changed. The total amount invoiced to date for the whole contract, which initiated in 2020 by ACO Engineered Systems, is $1,636,502, with a 27% total achieved participation in the Business Inclusion Program. The total amount invoiced to date by Murray Company is $19,469,020, with a 69% total achieved participation in the Business Inclusion Program. This concludes the report for the specialized as-needed maintenance contracts.
Thank you. Do you have questions?
A request, but I guess I'll frame it as a question. Could you make sure to send that oral report in written format to Mr. Knight so you can share it with us, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, those reports actually should be in advance, and they should be in our transmittals so that the public is also well aware of what's going on, since you're already listed on the agenda.
Okay, I believe I shared it with Adolfo. I'm not sure if, who else. I guess this is the.
Thank you, Gilbert. So typically the Bureau would send that transmittal that goes along with the oral report to me, to the whoever the executive officer is, at least a week in advance so that it can be included and they would upload it via the PrimeGov system or Granicus system so that it could be included in the agenda.
Okay, got it.
Is this your first time at the board?
Yes.
Okay. All right, will be easy.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for the update. Appreciate that. It's just that when you're reading all the information, it's easy for us to follow as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all. Appreciate it. All right. And is this a voting item, Mr. Knight?
It is not. It's an oral report.
Okay,
We
thank
mark
you.
as received.
All right, we're good?
Thank you.
All right, then we're good. Thank you so much. Then we got to go back to general public comment. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Vice President.
All right, we have, well, we had general public comment from people inside the building, but they are no longer here. And so then we'll go on to Zoom.
Very well. We can start with Audit LA. Audit LA, go ahead. You have 2 minutes to offer your general public comment.
Yes, I want to start off by saying yesterday I went to the Fire Commission meeting, and wow, what a difference. Absolute professionals. I spoke my claims of absolute safety concerns, and by the end of the day, they were on it. That fire lane is now open. So salute and thank you to the LAFD Fire Commission. Unlike this commission, where we've been coming twice a week, week after week since with July, and everything has fallen on deaf ears. Nothing's been done. The only thing that has been done is that is an absolute effort to suppress free speech. And Vice President Villegas, I am going to ask you to do what what the former president did, and I'm going to ask you to step down. You are not fit for this, in my opinion. I believe that Commissioner Davis is much more qualified. He understood what I was saying as far as conflict of interest, and he tried to warn you. You made this meeting erratic. You put public comment at the end to punish public comment. You have a disdain for people, whether they are, and you have no idea what everyone wanted to talk about. You're just assuming that it's all people who are protesting the conditions at L. Ron Hubbard Way. So you are not fit, in my opinion. You absolutely, and you did not honor my, when I tried to make a clarification for the city attorney. So city attorney, I am calling you out as well. You should have answered my questions and concerns, because I was given a warning, which means my next time I could be kicked out before I gave public comment, which you knew I wouldn't be doing. So but you guys think that you're playing chess, but you're not. You only have the skill set of playing checkers. So I want to know who I need to complain to, because I am filing a complaint against Vice President Villegas and the city attorney.
And that's 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Henri? Last call for Henri. I don't see him still in the queue. Oh, there you are. And you have 2 minutes, Henri.
Yes, hello. I want to echo Audit LA's comments, especially about the stepping down and the fact that you intentionally shifted public comment for the first time. Been coming for a while now, for the first time, all the way towards the end. So shame on you, but I want to direct your attention to two really big ticket items. Number one, June the 3rd, 2024 at Fountain Avenue. And this is a general contractor by the name of Omega Structural Incorporated, hired directly by Scientology, knowing full well they did not have a permit to conduct major construction to do, guess what, foundation repair. And Scientology not only hired them without a permit, Omega Structural Inc. took the job without a permit, but that's not even the worst of it. The Omega Structural Inc. Employees actually assaulted me, as well as issued death threats to me and another caller who is here today, Scott, by making a motion to slice my neck off in broad daylight. Affiliated with Scientology, issuing death threats, and assaulting protesters. But that's not even the worst, all right? That's not even the freaking worst. Your city is doing business with Coding Building Supplies, owned by the Springers, Tracy and Stacy, who are being investigated for child molestation. This is who LA City does business with, all right? They're both Scientologists. They are doing major construction with your city, and they're chomos. And you're doing business with them. It's no longer about construction. You guys are openly being affiliated with child rapists and predators. And this is what your legacy will be. Everybody will see this video and they will know you by this deed. You need to stand up. This is more than just construction. This is about saving children from predators. And that's exactly what Scientology is. And we've been telling you for months. And guess what? Because you've known, thanks to public comments, you too are liable. Do you really want this to be your legacy?
Thank
to
you,
be
Henry.
affiliated
That's
with
2 minutes.
Lester?
We'll move next to Mona M. Mona M. Go ahead, you have 2
Good
minutes.
morning, good afternoon, council members. Thank you for the time to speak today. Let's see, L. Ron Hubbard Way again and Fountain Avenue. I want to give credit where credit is due. As of last night, the fire line was finally opened. Excuse me, on L. Ron Hubbard Way. Apparently talking to the fire commissioner and the fire chief had made an accomplishment. The Board of Public Works should have enforced the section of the permit months ago. Shame on you for making it go that far. There was a lot of people at risk. Now let's take care of the ADA violations, the planners. They're not only an ADA violation, but they are in the fire lanes on Fountain Avenue. And the scaffolding, it was inspected by the fire chief yesterday, and I'm waiting on what assessment he gave for the permits. Let's get this taken care of before it becomes a pie on your face too. Council members, let's do better. I and most of the commenters would just go away if you would just do your job and enforce codes. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you, Mona. We'll go next to Yvonne. Yvonne Best. Go ahead.
Thank you. Again, this is around the compound, Ronald Hubbard Fountain in New Haven. Noticeably, there are no permits posted anywhere. Labor is being used that is being underpaid and illegally performing construction and maintenance on public property. Additional construction was noted in the trash bay, and there's no permit noticeable or on record for that. In addition, you are putting at risk funding that is used for all kinds of projects should the Department of Justice, Department of Labor decide that you are not a credible agency, and they withhold their contributions to the city due to your dereliction of duty. That's not a threat. That's an inevitability if you persist on allowing the misuse of individuals on R1 visas and the underpayment of staff in the Sea Org being paid $50 a week. I'm done bringing this to your attention. It is your legacy to fix this problem of slavery in Los Angeles.
Thank you. Thank you, Yvonne. We'll move next to Barbara. Barbara, are you still on the virtual platform? Okay, I don't see Barbara's name still on. So Scott, go ahead and you should unmute. You'll be able to unmute and you'll have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. We are not playing chess. We are playing 3D chess, and we are not going away. We will be here at every meeting, bringing awareness and making you culpable to the actions of what Scientology is doing. I was given a death threat by one of those contractors working in uncontracted foundation work. They gave us a death threat. For months, we've been filming them moving people across the street, trafficking people. Those trafficking has ceased to persist because that unpermitted contracting was to build an illegal tunnel under Fountain Avenue to traffic those people. You have the ability to stop that and expose that. All those people who are being put in danger by going under a tunnel that was not permitted and is being done by this without the city's permission or with the city turning a blind eye are responsible for that. Just like all those people that could have been hurt by that fire lane not being open. It's a miracle that no one was hurt and there wasn't a fire. That it took all of us speaking up, and we will be coming back, and there's going to be more of us until we get some remedy to what's going on there. Those Sea Org members are working for $50 a week, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. This is uncalled for. You're spending how many millions of dollars for a theater, and you can't figure it out. Figure it out. There's a tunnel under Fountain. How is there a tunnel being built under Fountain without permits? Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Teague McLean. Go ahead, you have 2
Thank you
minutes.
for allowing me to speak. I am also speaking in regards to Scientology. I have noticed that they have ongoing public events happening on the street. One of my complaints was in regards to the fire lane. That has been taken care of. But they're ejecting people from the events based on their own, I don't know, they just have their security guards on the phone saying, get them out of here, which is wrong. They were actually caught by the police presenting invalid permits. They changed the dates on them, and this was addressed. And I would like to know why shortly thereafter that this incident was documented, the access to the public permit website was shut. You can no longer view the details of the public permits due to this incident. Timing was just like within a matter of days, it was shut down. And there is a lot of non-permitted construction happening currently, and all of this is being documented, and I would like to know what the city is doing about it. Are you investigating it? Thank you, and I yield my time.
Thank you, Teague. I do see an additional hand raised. Area code 310, ending in 134. Would you like to offer public commentary on today's meeting?
Hello, this is Barbara Brody making a public comment. I have 3 quick topics to discuss. One, I want to call attention, the Board of Public Works approved an RFP for over $1 million over the Bureau of Engineering's estimates, and no one seemed to bat an eye about that. And the staff report noted that this was likely because the contractors involved were accustomed to bidding on much larger bids. I would suggest that perhaps the board look and the department look at identifying a list of contractors who are interested and willing in bidding in smaller bids so that $1 million override isn't something done out of default. Number 2, at some time ago, the City Council passed a motion to approve an RFP for the Ike Interactive Kiosk Experience advertising program. That program would compete with the staff program for ad revenues on our city streets, and I'm asking what the situation is or the status is of any potential RFP for Ike, and to make certain that if it does move forward, that there be a robust public participation process in the drafting of the RFP before it's written and released. Thirdly, on the matter of public works agendas, the staff program was meant to report today, and there was no written report in the file to review so that we could prepare to ask questions and raise points that would help to make the program better. And I would appreciate very much if there could be written reports in advance so that not only the public can better monitor the program, but also so the board can do so, and it's easier to keep in line with monitoring benchmarks and reports that are given. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. And that concludes public commentary on today's agenda.
Great. Thank you so much. Then did we clear the desk, Mr. Knight?
Yes, we have.
All right. Then at 12:23, we are adjourned. Thank you.